I am Dr. Vilma Pacheco-Barcia, and this is Open Doors Podcast, two women scientists driven by curiosity, evidence, and compassion.
Hi, everyone, and welcome back to Open Doors, the podcast where we explore professional well being in oncology and beyond, one conversation at a time. On this podcast, we open doors to better leadership, healthier teams, and practical tools for your professional life. I'm very honored and super excited to have a great colleague today with us, a global oncology voice, Professor Amanda Psyrri, who I will try to introduce to you briefly, although I think, Amanda, that is pretty much an impossible task. You've got a massive CV. So Amanda is internationally recognized for her groundbreaking work in head and neck cancer, particularly in establishing the causal link between HPV and oropharyngeal cancer, helping bring biomarkers like P16 into routine clinical practice. Her translational research has not only shaped science, but has directly changed patient care worldwide. Amanda, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you very much for hosting me.
Thank you, Amanda. You are also a key leader within ESMO, having chaired multiple committees, contributed to countless scientific programs, and championed women in oncology through initiatives such as Women for Oncology in Greece. With over 300 publications, editorial roles in top journals, and leadership in major clinical and translational trials, she's a force in global oncology. Amanda, it's a real privilege to have you here with us today. We're excited to hear about your journey, your insights into the future of oncology, and your reflections on leadership, science, and mentorship. Welcome to Open Doors.
Thank you very much, Ioanna and Vilma, for hosting me. I am excited to share my journey in medicine, which began at the University of Patras in Greece. There, I had the incredible opportunity to learn from professors who had trained in the United States, which really laid the groundwork for my career. After successfully passing the USMLE, I took a leap of faith and traveled to the US for interviews. I was fortunate to receive invitations from 20 hospitals, and I finally chose to train in internal medicine at St. Raphael's Hospital, a Yale affiliated institution in New Haven, Connecticut. Initially, I was focused on endocrinology, but everything changed during my rotation at the Medical Oncology Clinic at Yale. The dynamic nature of oncology and the vast clinical trials available there truly captivated me. Compared to the fast-paced world of oncology, endocrinology felt a bit static, and that made me reconsider my path. It was clear I wanted to dive deeper into medical oncology. An unforgettable part of my journey was my experience at MD Anderson in the lymphoma department, where I worked alongside Professors Campanillas and Saris. Their mentorship and expertise were transformative for me. I also met Professor Barbara Bertness at Yale, who has been a significant influence on my career. Collaborating with her on a project during my residency in internal medicine really increased fueled my passion to join medical oncology. Fast forward to 2002, after completing my medical oncology fellowship at Yale, I joined the faculty there. So, this is a brief description of my time in the US. I joined the faculty at Yale in 2002 as an instructor, and in 2003 I was promoted to assistant professor. However, you know, after my years at Yale and doing a laboratory research, I came back to Greece to pursue a faculty position and academic career in Greece.
Well, Amanda, you've navigated international training and leadership roles. Do you think these experiences have also taught you about resilience and ambition in medicine?
Absolutely, it was a challenging journey, to say the least. Being far from home, from family, from friends, and working hard, extremely hard, pushed me to my limits. I remember during my internship, there were times when I was working 36 hours shifts straight. As a foreigner, I really felt the pressure to prove myself, which just fueled my drive to put in even more effort. So, also, as a foreigner, I had to work very hard. There were moments when I wanted to give up and return home. However, these challenges made me stronger, and it was gratifying to have my work recognized, allowing me to showcase my potential. I was very driven and goal oriented. I smile at the memory of a professor at MD Anderson saying that he had not met a more persistent person. I was thrilled when I received an offer for a faculty position at Yale to lead the head and neck oncology clinic at the age of 30. I felt proud of my accomplishments.
Thanks, Amanda. And you're describing it beautifully because we don't frequently talk about the challenges that you encounter when you are away from home, you're studying, you're developing brand new connections, networking, and the fact that indeed you do feel that you need to prove your point. You need to make a mark, and that can make you stronger. So, thank you for sharing that. I think it's pretty empowering, especially for people who are starting the journey or who are during the journey of being in a foreign country and trying to develop a career there and establish themselves. Thank you. You are among the first to establish the link between HPV and oropharyngeal cancer, which was groundbreaking, basically. Can you take us back to that time? What drove your curiosity, and what do you consider your biggest contribution in this field?
During my medical oncology fellowship at Yale, I was fortunate enough to work in the genetics department under the guidance of Professor Daniel Di Maio, which is an esteemed figure in the HPV field. So I went to a basic science lab to understand better molecular oncology. My research there focused on the molecular interactions between the HPV E7 oncoprotein and the retinoblastoma tumor suppressor protein. This experience truly ignited my passion for bench research, shaping the direction of my career. As faculty, I was granted laboratory space to establish a translational research program specifically focused on head and neck cancer. I collaborated with David Ream, a famous pathologist at Yale. We concentrated on the molecular epidemiology of cancer. Also, I had the honor to collaborate with incredibly talented individuals, and I was lucky to have very intelligent people in my lab, such as Paul Weinberger, Ziwi Yu, Theodore Rambias, Maria Vasilakopoulou, Irini Pektasidis, and many other people that had in my lab as postdocs. Our laboratory was quite productive. We made significant strides in identifying key biomarkers for head and neck cancer. One of our proudest moments was being among the first to recognize P16 as a surrogate biomarker for a biologically and clinically relevant HPV infection in oropharyngeal cancer. Our research also provided very important molecular evidence linking HPV to oropharyngeal cancer, which is paving the way for future advancements in diagnosis and treatment of these diseases.
Amazing, Amanda. And also, when you were
Thank you.
explaining how your lab evolved, I was thinking like the moment when you first start doing a hypothesis, you sit with your team and you think all of the new ideas to develop new projects. Sometimes we're not able to see how will it will become a reality, like what my hypothesis I'm trying to prove right now in my study, how it's going to impact patients. And it's true that your studies biomarkers such as p16 are now routine in practice. How do you feel seeing your translational research shape clinical reality for patients worldwide?
Well, I'm very excited. It's incredibly satisfying to see that the results of your research have significant implications for patient care. It's also reassuring to know that your findings have been validated by other scientists in the field. I recall a female professor I met during my fellowship who emphasized that the most important factor in research is not the number of publications, but the replication of your results by others.
Yeah. And actually, that was incredibly impactful. And I know you didn't use the word, but actually, I am very proud. I'm very proud of you, and I'm very proud that a female colleague who is also Greek established that. So it's incredible.
Yes,
Um,
when we first published our results in Journal of Clinical Oncology, it was very controversial, and many experts in the head and neck cancer field didn't believe our results. But over time, other people validated our work, and this is very gratifying, I would say.
yeah, and it offers through this experience the maturity you need for your amazing now academic career as well, because yes, sometimes results can be controversial, but then you prove your hypothesis and you stand your ground. What advice would you give? Let's imagine a young a female oncologist just starting their career and looking up to you. What
Mhm.
advice would you give uh, that person?
Yes, I think that the most important thing is for young people is to believe in their dream, to be persistent, to stay focused, uh, and it's important not to get discouraged from um, from our mistakes because mistakes make us grow and we learn from our mistakes. And I think the major breakthroughs come after uh, our disappointment when we are ready to give up. I think we should remember. I remember the times that um, my first thought was to give up, but I didn't. And the success, it came after that, and which was very transformative. So I think we need uh, to believe in ourselves and to believe that we can make an impact not only for ourselves, but for the global community and the society and the cancer patients. And, we sometimes meet people that we admire, but we do not have to be all identical. We have to be original. And we have to keep that in mind, and I don't think that um, titles are only for ourselves. We get the titles to transform science, to transform patient care, and we can make an impact. We should keep that in mind.
It's a beautiful advice, Amanda, and truly important to follow your dreams and learn to grow. Like shift your mindset when you make mistakes. I think it's a wonderful advice, and it bridges us very nicely also to that part of work life balance. You are the chair, one of the largest medical departments in Greece, and you hold key positions in ESMO, plus all your research. Amanda, how do you balance research, leadership, and patient care?
I think that having effective leadership fosters commitment, sparks creativity, and unites individuals who share a common vision. To truly transform your work environment and provide innovation, harnessing the power of leadership is very important. In Greece, we face every day several challenges because, of course, we don't have the resources they are available in the US. But, as the chair of the department, I was able to get a generous donation from Martinos, a very wealthy person in Greece, which has enabled us to establish a new facility dedicated to cancer patients. This will be the first academic cancer center in Greece. We are in the process of developing a formal partnership with the Northwestern Cancer Center in Chicago in collaboration with Professor Platanias. Our team is actively engaged in clinical and translational research, and I am fortunate to work alongside exceptional medical oncologists, and together we form a strong and dedicated unit. My dream is to make my department a leading cancer center in Europe, providing excellent multidisciplinary care to cancer patients. Regarding ESMO, I feel incredibly fortunate to be part of this community of remarkable individuals. As a member of the ESMO Council, I have a fantastic opportunity to discuss developments and challenges in our profession and contribute to shaping the future of oncology alongside brilliant leaders in the field. I am truly honored to be part of the ESMO Council, and I am enthusiastic about contributing to the success of ESMO in transforming patient care through their various initiatives. ESMO is the leading oncology society. It's hard to keep up with all the initiatives in education, mentorship, public policy, but it's a great source of inspiration. So yes, my schedule is full, but and time management it poses a significant challenge. But delegating tasks effectively and selecting the right team members, I think, is a key to success. I also learned to say no, to decline opportunities that do not align with my mission. And it's also important to empower others in your team and avoid micromanagement, I think. So it's not just making a to-do list. It's to select the right team members and empower them and mentor them. And I think that uh, the evaluation of a program is based on the success of the graduates of this program or, the junior faculty. So I think we need to make sure that we promote the career of our trainees and our junior faculty.
Thanks, Amanda. What, in other words, you are describing is efficient, effective, collaborative leadership, because you mentioned mentorship, investment, investing in others. You also spoke about boundaries, which I liked, and about saying no. And knowing where to say yes, which I think we can all improve doing. It's an art. There's an art around that. I want to stay on the work life balance a bit, and I know you're very busy. You've got an amazing career. You've got hundreds of meetings, a lot of responsibility, but you've got a life to live as well. So how do you stay grounded and being in the moment, because we have all these distractions around us, all this noise? So how do you switch that off and be present with your beloved ones?
Yes, I think that saving quality time for ourselves is very important, and also it's a key uh, to be productive. I remember when I was working in the lab, sometimes to finish the project, I was going to the lab over the weekend. And during the week, I was tired and I was making mistakes. So I remember the chair of the department at Yale at that time, Albert Deiseroth, he said to me, Amanda, there was a study done in another profession, not doctors. I think it was in people working in Wall Street or something like that. And those that were working over the weekend were the least productive. So you have to to make time also for yourself, for your family, to relax. Especially, I think in oncology, this is very important because dealing with patients and all this emotional burden, is very difficult to handle if you don't have personal time. So it's important to save time for yourself, and we cannot do everything perfect. I mean, nobody can. We just set priorities, and I think it is important not just to be productive, but to be present when you do something, when you talk to patients, to be present at the moment, to when you talk with your lab people about research, to be concentrated and be really there, not meeting people and trying to answer the phone or you know receive other calls and other distractions. So I mean, time management is $1 million question, especially in oncology, and when you have also administrative responsibilities.
Mhm.
I think prioritizing and um, selecting your team very carefully to have a supportive um, uh, staff and delegating tasks and empowering the people around you can help. I don't think I can do. I mean, uh, of course, I have too many things to do, and I am far from perfection, too far from perfection. So I don't think I am the best person to give advice, but these are some general rules that I use.
I completely resonate, Amanda. When you were explaining that moment when you were, like tired, it reminded me of myself a year and a half ago. I was like, I had a lot of, like project research. I consider myself a creative type. I usually have ideas and I develop them, like creatively speaking. And suddenly I felt that I was just like, for example, writing a paper for a journal. And I was like, in the same page for an hour, hour and a half. And that didn't feel like me. And it was the time I was most investing in research, for example. So I was talking to a friend, and we realized that when I woke up in the morning, I was with the emails and the coffee. When I was drying my hair, I was reading. When I was like multitasking. There was no moment for me, for myself. And actually, that's the moment when I started doing exercise at 5 a.m., which is something that united me with Joanna. But that moment for myself made me be more present. So I fully agree, Amanda, how important it is to take care of yourself. And everyone is different, but everyone can find a way probably to be more present. Amanda, you were also talking about your team, the networks, and this is something that interests us a lot. We're very interested in how you've built and led groups across Europe and the United States. Is there a blueprint for building strong collaborative networks in oncology?
Well, I think it is essential to collaborate with individuals who share your passion and to foster meaningful partnerships. Engaging with cooperative groups at both national and international levels, as well as actively participating in oncology societies, is very important to building a strong professional network that can contribute to your career success. So, in the United States, I was a member of the Eastern Cooperative Oncology Group, initially led by Arlene Forestier and then by Barbara Bertnes. During my time there, I was the translational research chair for one of the ECOG studies. And then, when I moved to Europe, I got involved with EORTC under the leadership of Jan Vermorken, and I was appointed as the chair of translational research for the head and neck cancer group. In Greece, I have drawn inspiration from oncology leaders like George Fougilas, the chair of the Hellenic Cooperative Oncology Group, who has been very supportive of young professionals in the field. He appointed me as the chair of the head and neck cancer group initially, and then as the chair of the entire Hellenic Cooperative Oncology Group's scientific chair. And now I'm serving as the secretary of the Head and Neck International Group. I think it's important to be involved in these networks because you get to meet people and to collaborate on projects that require collaboration and as a mentor at ESMO, I also, when I meet with mentees from India, for example, I'm trying to get them involved with European cooperative groups, ESMO. So I think it's very important for young professionals, but at any stage of your career, to be involved in research groups, international research groups.
Absolutely. And that stimulates curiosity, builds stronger professional relationships. And you mentioned the word passion, because this passion is the main driver. And as soon as you meet people who are like minded and share the same passion, you can have meaningful partnerships with them. I fully agree. It is an art, though, Amanda. So not everybody can do this skillfully and successfully. So yes, it's yeah, it's your work is incredible.
Thank you.
Amanda, so as Joanna was saying, it's not easy to lead, and also I think leadership has been evolving in the last few years. Like we've seen a positive leadership. We see how women in oncology lead more globally. How do you envision the future role of women in oncology leadership globally?
Yes, I envision a future where women are not just participating in oncology leadership, but shaping it, defining it, and transforming it at every level globally. We are already seeing women step into key roles in clinical research, academic medicine, health policy, and industry. And they are bringing with them a leadership style that is collaborative, patient centered, and deeply values driven. But isn't just representation, it's about influence, impact, and shaping the future of cancer care. When women lead, entire systems get stronger. And that's the future we should all be working toward.
Thank you, Amanda. And before we close, we always like to end with a quick reflection round. It's a rapid fire answers, big insights.
Okay.
What is a quote that keeps you going these days?
The quote is a quote by Nelson Mandela. Do not judge me by my success. Judge me by how many times I fell down and got back up again. This quote reminds me that leadership is built on persistence. It's not about having a perfect record. It's about how many times you have had the courage to start again.
If you could write a letter to your younger self when you were at the start of all your academic career, what would that be?
Well, if I had to write a letter To my younger self, I would say that you are at the beginning of a very exciting journey. It's not going to be easy. It will often push you to your limits, but keep faith and do not get discouraged by mistakes. You will meet brilliant people, um, but you don't have to be identical to them. You should develop your own identity and stay focused and be persistent.
Who is the next person you hope to open the door for?
Well, I will open the door for someone who feels that it does not belong to the room, that it's too late for him or her, that is different from the others, and does not have a chance to succeed. This is the person I would like to take care of, let's say.
What is a door you walked through that changed your life?
Um, what is the door? So yeah, you talked about P16, the P16 work. So I remember when I was a junior faculty, I was instructor or assistant professor, and it was the beginning of my research career. I was approached by a medical student from Georgia um, who had received a Doris Duke Fellowship to spend a year at Yale. So this person, Paul Weinberger, met with me because he would like to be an ENT doctor and he was interested in a head and neck cancer project. So I was too young at that time and um, I didn't. It was like I felt that I cannot be responsible at this time for the success of this student. He wanted like to have a publication in 1 year. Um, it was so I tried to direct him to other people, David Ream, and but he came back to me and he said, "No, I just want to work with you." So it was. A transformative experience. We were such a great team and very productive. And instead of one paper, um, we produced like 10 papers in JCO, clinical cancer research. I remember when we celebrated the first publication, like 6 months after he joined my lab. The first paper had been accepted 6 or 8 months, I think. Sometimes we doubt our even ourselves, doubt our potential or our But I think we should say yes to opportunities, especially when we are not sure, because this is when the greatest success happens.
Anything you could comfortably share with us that it's not common knowledge about you and may come as a surprise? People don't know that about you.
Well, you know, at some point it was very difficult for me to handle the emotional aspect of our profession dealing with patients. So at that point, I considered switching to a purely research focused path. Uh, but a senior mentor noticed that I was pulling away and gave me a piece of advice that changed everything. You don't have to harden yourself to stay in this field. Stay open long enough to grow stronger. So, resilience in the field is not about detachment, it's about finding meaning even when the results aren't what we hope.
Thank you, Amanda. Thank you for sharing all of your work with us today, your leadership roles, and how you've been working in how women in oncology have grown in the last years. It's a real honor and pleasure to have you. Thank you.
Thank you very much for having me. Great to meet you.
Thanks, Amanda. And I think authenticity and originality, as you mentioned very frequently in our discussion, because people often look up to successful individuals, well established people, thinking, how did they make it? Was it that easy? And actually, you spoke about the failures that shape us, the failures that make us stronger. I don't like the word failure, but surely you understand what I'm trying to say. The challenges or the moments that we were on the ground, for whatever reason that might be, because we were overwhelmed, because a grand application was not successful, because people were not accepting us, hundreds of reasons, but then we have risen above and beyond that. So thank you so much for sharing that. That was an absolutely fantastic discussion in line with what Open Doors podcast is. Keep opening doors for yourself and for others. I'm Dr. Ioanna Nixon.
I am Dr. Vilma Pacheco-Barcia, and this is Open Doors Podcast.
And remember, you belong in the room.
You belong in the room.